Hey everyone, Chang here. This is the practice problem video series. For today's standard test question, we have something like this right here. Now, f of x equals x plus 1 over x. We are super familiar with this. This usually is accompanied by x equals some number, and then we plug it in place of where x is, and then we solve it, and then we're done. Now, this one's a little different. Here we have f of x, and that's what we're looking for. They don't give us an x equals some number, so there's really nothing we can solve. So what do we do in a situation like this? What the heck is it asking? Well, we recognize at least the inner portion, f of x. This is f of x where originally it should be an x. What I'm going to do is I'm going to call this new x. New x. Right? Well, since I called f of x new x, this is going to be your new x. Now, there's a reason I decided to do that, because that helps us understand what this is actually asking. So originally, where there's going to be an x, we're actually going to put our new x, this whole thing, in place of where x is. So if we think about how originally they would give us a number, and we plug it in place of where x is and solve, that's what we're going to do. But instead of where x is, we're going to put a number. Where x is, we're going to actually put the entire function in it. So instead of x, what we're going to do is we're going to put x plus 1 over x. So x plus 1 over x. And then we have our plus 1 over, and where x is now x plus 1 over x. Okay? Hopefully, when you encounter a test question like this, you are done at this point, right? One of the 4 possible multiple choice answer, this is one of them, you're done. Chances are not that high though. Usually when they see something like this, especially this at the denominator, what they're going to do is they're going to try to ask you to manipulate it in one way, shape, or form, such that it matches one of the potential answers. Now, there's no, I guess you could say, efficient strategy, or this is the one step-by-step way to go about it. You just have to be very careful and just start paying attention to all the possibilities and try to see, based on experience, what you can do. Now, my guess, when they give you something like this and you plug it in, they don't like this guy at the bottom, and they're going to try to find a way to manipulate it such that this is not at the bottom. The end result is most likely some polynomial on top and some polynomial on the bottom. Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to try to find that possibility. X plus 1 over x actually can be rewritten into something that's a little more comfortable. X plus 1 over x. If I multiply the top and bottom by x, this guarantees that they will share the same denominator. That means it's going to equal x squared plus 1 over, and the shared common denominator is x. Now, in place of these two right here, I'm going to just put this guy. X squared plus 1 over x plus 1 over, and this whole thing now is going to be x squared plus 1 over x. Now, when you have a fraction like this, 1 over and another fraction, that basically means you're flipping these over. So instead of 1 over x squared plus 1 over x, that's just going to be x over x squared plus 1. So I'm just going to rewrite it right here. This is the original x squared plus 1 over x. And this one is going to be, what is it, plus x over x squared plus 1. At this point, I'm really hoping that you're done here. If not, then what you're going to do is you're going to try to find a common denominator, and then you're going to, I guess you could say, combine them. This is an x squared plus 1, and this is an x. So what you're going to do is you're going to multiply top and bottom by x on this side, and x squared plus 1 top and bottom right here, just to guarantee that they have the same common denominator. So let's do that. This is going to be times x, which is what we really want. It's easier. This one here is not so much. We're going to multiply this by x squared plus 1 on top and x squared plus 1 on the bottom. So we have our x squared plus 1 squared plus x squared over, and what is that? Going to be x squared plus 1 times x. Okay, so there's really not much you can do at this point. If you want, you can, I guess you could say, distribute this all out and combine it, which is what I'm going to do in the end. And this one, we can just combine that as well. So this right here, when you distribute all out, it's going to be x to the 4th power plus 2x squared plus 1 plus x squared. Bottom is going to be x to the third power, because you're multiplying this into the parentheses, plus x. And then you can combine this guy right here and this guy right here. So that's just going to be x to the fourth plus 3x squared plus 1 over x cubed plus x. And hopefully this would be your final answer, right? If it's not this, and if it's not, where did it go? If it's not this, then hopefully at the end, which might be the case, when you reach something like this where it looks a little nicer, this might be your answer.